DVB Digital Fast.
Hello and welcome to the DVB Newsroom. I'm English news host Nora. Joining me today is Thinzar Shunlei Yi, a Myanmar democracy activist and executive member at Sisters to Sisters. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
9 pro-democracy activists in Myanmar were sentenced up to 37 years for protesting the military's sham elections, which ended on January 25th. What do you know about this case?
Since the military has decided to stage sham elections, they started arresting so many activists more and more. And we have noticed that in the whole year of 2025, they have conducted the most airstrike and the most terrifying, a campaign against the dissent, especially the political activists who are undertaking underground activities in Yangon, and the arrest of these young people and the sentencing of them is a part of their strategy to legitimize their own elections and to ensure that they successfully conduct the election. So it is such a sad news that for many of the young people who are being out, on the front line of the activism in Myanmar, and they are not a lone case. There are many other young people who are women on the ground that are not publicly announced, who cannot be publicly named themselves because of their security of the other family members, etc. So far we know that there are more than 300 activists being sentenced under the election protection laws. So, and they kept arresting more activists even after the election, I would say.
Why do you think the regime court handed them such long sentences?
So actually, they already have announced that in the election protection law, if you act against the elections, you can be sentenced to lifelong sentences. So 30 years is a part of that plan. So there are other cases, like one of the prominent cases, like one of the activists online or just by clicking a dissent post on Facebook or other social media, that can land you a lifetime sentence. So more than 30 years is not a lone case, as I have stated. They have also arrested the other activists on the ground that are not high profile like this. So this is a part of their campaign.
Do you expect similar sentences in other political cases?
Many of my friends, right, who are sentenced to 30 years, 40 years for just being a part of the protest. There are many cases like that. So I think these activists might already expect that. We have to take a step back and think of the whole situation. Why these young people stay protest against the junta sham election at the cost of their own life, at the cost of their own, this kind of long-term sentences could land on them, but they still choose to protest against it. That bravery, that dedication, that decision, that they will not submit to the junta, in their plan in their plan to organize the election. It says something. It's an example of activism in Myanmar, I would say. The young people, they are at the front line. They're not the only people, but I totally respect them and their decisions. They are aware of it and they still do it. And now I think they are sentenced to more than 30 years. We don't know when they will be released, So this is a reality young people are facing in Myanmar.
Now you are an executive member at Sisters to Sisters. What kind of work does this organization do?
So we started as a movement. It's organically started as online social media campaign called Sister to Sister. It's a solidarity between women, especially the marginalized, oppressed communities, different inter-ethnic as well as intersectional approach. After 5 years of our existence, now we have stepped up to form ourselves, institutionalize ourselves as organizations, and then we have expanded our work in Myanmar. So our main focus is to ensure that we raised solidarity among the women of all different races, different ethnicity, different social background to be together in this revolution, as well as we learn to highlight and amplify the voices on the ground to the international level, as well as to bridge the international feminist movement to Myanmar feminist movement. So we've been existing for more than 5 years now.
How does it support democracy activists inside Myanmar?
So we have two programs called Advocacy and Campaign and Movement and Community Support. These two programs are designed as a parallel and as a interconnected programs where they complement each other. So as myself coming from activist background, I've been organizing different protests together with the other activists, but without the support system, we cannot sustain. So we want to make sure that there is a support system for us, especially for the new phases, because the Spring Revolution is such a profound, revolution where we see more and more new faces, and the younger voices, also fresh idea, creative ideas. So we like to accommodate all of these different activism from different walks of life to keep up the momentum of our revolution, to ensure there is not just political movement, but also social movement that are interrelated to each other. So Sister with Sister I designed that way. So we have action-oriented program and the support programs. So we've been working closely with the community on the ground. We have 5 communities that we are dedicated to: refugee, Rohingya community, and internally displaced community, LGBTIQ community, and the urban young people and the women. So as well as the general garment workers. Garment workers, they are the backbone of our revolution. So we've been supporting, amplifying, working alongside with them in the action-oriented program, as well as in the support program. We organize psychosocial support, workshop in the IDP camps, etc. So we are doing our best. As a part of the feminist movement, we have action and urgent fan. It's a dedicated localized fan schemes only for the local groups that like to access resources from sister to sister to organize more direct action on the ground.
Based on what you can safely share, what kind of support do activists and their families need most right now?
Oh, I think whenever we ask that, as myself, if somebody asks me, what do you need? What do you need? And then people might say, oh, we need money, we need resources, we need support, we need connection. But deep down, we say we need solidarity. Solidarity is such a strengthening force that cannot be bought by many. It's built through time. It's a trust. It's a trust that have to invested in Myanmar. So we need solidarity the most. A solidarity that are not easily broken by benefit, profit, that are not easily broken by so-called shows, like the junta is playing right now. The junta is now playing a show where people can be easily fooled. They can be fooled. And that solidarity will remain intact, knowing that what we really need as activists. And also a solidarity that demand together with us for justice and accountability. I think that's the most needed thing in our activist life. Apart from that, of course, the support system is such an essential part to keep up our activism in our daily life. Yeah.
You come from a military family in Myanmar, but you've also been a human rights activist. How does your upbringing influence your work now?
I would say I was born into the military where I had no choices. But then I was also raised as a Buddhist. But I wasn't like traditional Buddhist. I was a curious child. So I always ask questions. And my dad, who was a captain in the military, now retired, he's been raising me as a strong, independent woman. So he also influenced me to be strong, independent, and He let me read a lot of books. So he's such a different soldier, so I would say. I think I'm lucky enough to have this kind of father. And then the Buddhism, I would say. Buddhism was a fundamental element of my activisms. It was so not that difficult enough to be an activist, human rights defender or an activist when you are a devotee to Buddhism. In Buddhism, we have a loving kindness towards all human beings, and as well as there is a justice element in the Buddhism where we interpret it into our daily work. So I think Buddhism has a big influence in my early career life of a human rights activist or a defender. And throughout time, I can link it with the human rights principles, human rights, law, international law, and the way we do things. So basically, all in all, loving kindness and compassion is a very humbling matter that I can learn from Buddhism. And that kept me doing what I'm doing with, we call it humble audacity, humble audacity is what I truly believe, and it's also Buddhist teaching. So I would say, and I felt as a military family member, former military family member, I felt responsible to use my privilege to voice out for the ones who don't have that privilege, and to keep doing what I believe in. So these are very fundamental influencing factor in my life.
What would you say to young people from military families who disagree with that institution?
I grew up in a military compound and attending military, school. So I have so many military family friends. I never had like minority friends coming or like minority religions friends. So we were like in a very close war where we see ourselves as a superior than the other civilians. And I look back to my life, even as a low rank, officer level, we were highly brainwashed. There are a lot of propagandas. So imagine being in a higher rank, children. It's harder. It's harder to realize it. I think what I can say is where you are born into does not define who you are, shouldn't define who you are. You may be born into a military family. You may be born into a refugee family. You may be born as a Rohingya, but these conditions may not define you, who you want to become. So it's in your hand. It's your own fate, and that you can define yourself. So I like to become a human rights defender, and I made it. Despite different difficulty, different barrier that I faced throughout my life, I made it happen. So you can. This is the message I would say. And I know so many military family members who are not they don't agree with what the military is doing. They hate it. They tolerate it and they're ashamed of it. They don't want to say where they are from. And I say, take this shame, take this guilt into yourself and change it into power. This is what I did. I was so shameful. I was so guilty when I knew that what military was doing to the other minority. I was so shameful, even though I didn't do anything. But I felt it's not right. And I take my destiny back. It's in my hand. I can do something different. So, and I made it through. If I can do it, other people can do it. So there are many military family members who are trying to think about it. I hope they can do more. This is. I'm also trying to help and mentor mentor more military families like myself. And I've been working with other different organizations like People's Goal, who are supporting the defected soldiers to become human rights defender. And I take it serious.
Before the 2021 military coup, you spoke out against the military atrocities in Kachin and Rakhine states. How has your activism changed since the coup?
Actually, when I look back, I think I've been doing the same thing. Same thing. I was saying the same thing. But there are slight different changes, like regarding 2008 constitution. Before the 2020 election, I was going through a very deep and personal reflection pace because I was so depressed after the Rohingya genocide in 2017. Though the world international news were saying Myanmar is a genocide country, and I was thinking, wow, this is a name that we have to live with, especially as a young generation. And I felt, wow, this is our younger generation we have to face, and that's not fair because the young people didn't do anything. And do we do enough to stop this, even if we don't have enough power to stop it? That was always my concern. And so I spoke up against genocide, against all the decisions that were roundly, I would say, roundly conducted to the other different minority as well. So I was very active, and I also was going through a lot of confusion, frustration, faced where I faced a lot of illusions around the leadership, around what people were saying about human rights, democracy, and principles. It was such a big storm, but we passed this, and I already have a clear view of Myanmar politics that I felt is a failed system. So I spoke up in 2019 that Myanmar political system is a failed political system that we don't believe in anymore. And as I have predicted in 2021, they have coup, and they have shown that the system that they have built and that we thought is a so-called democratic transition is a fake. It's a fake. And I'm glad that now everybody is with me. Like everyone else that I know is now waking up to this, and then think of changing the whole political system. Now we are marching towards the new political system. I think after the 2021, I feel more empowered. I feel more myself. I feel more clear in terms of conviction, political conviction. Many people join us. Many people, we're not like, I feel like I don't need to be activist anymore. That kind of feeling. Because there's so many new faces, new idea, new generations, new way of doing and new way of thinking. It stayed there. So I'm glad that the revolution can happen out of the misery. The coup is such a misery, but we made it happen. We turned that into our opportunity for political system change. So now I'm playing my part, like wherever I'm needed. So I try to reflect on the strategy, what sort of strategy I can be most helpful and valuable. And I chose feminism, and I chose defection, and I chose the civil resistance, and I keep doing what I'm doing, regardless of how small it is. I keep on going. It's like for a long run.
So what still needs to change for ethnic communities to hold genuine leadership roles in the democracy movement?
Yeah, I think first, ethnic leaders, the way we see leadership was totally different, especially who are born in Yangon, Mandalay, in the mainland, so-called mainland. We felt like, oh, someone who should be a leader should speak English, should be able to have an international connection, should be really bright, shiny, and all of the leadership quality is not real, And now we have a new definition of leadership. Leadership is not also only about all these appearances. It's about your resilience. It's about how you keep on going in the face of deep depression and desperation, how you keep doing in the middle of the brutality the junta is imposing you, how you stay principled in times of confusion, in times of illusion. And I think that's the leadership I'm like really inspired now. Even though nobody's with you, you stay intact with your principle and you keep doing. And you don't give up, and you keep doing. You're not swayed by anything. So this is a sort of leadership I see and I learn from ethnic leaders. They don't give up. They don't surrender. They don't surrender their aims. They didn't give up their aims. And they kept doing what they believe in for their own ethnic minorities, self-determination, federal democracy. We didn't know about federal democracy in the past. And these ethnic leaders, they were telling us, this is what we need to do. This is the potential we can become. We don't need to just submit to the 2008 Constitution the military designed for us. They've been telling us, but now we hear more. So this is, I think, ethnic people, the minority, they already have shown the leadership. We just have to change the definition of how we see the leadership. like the woman leadership. People don't believe women can lead. And they never seen women in the power position. The woman should be so powerful, so like, be able to fight with the guns and, military skill and all of it. Now, all of these um, rhetorics are all shattering. So I think it is a new beginning for Myanmar. And don't fix yourself in one definition only, This is the very beginning of it. I think ethnic leaders are already there, showing their resiliency, showing their bravery, principles, leadership. We just have to accept it. We just have to accept that. And they are already in leadership position, I would say. With the SCEF, they are already in the leadership position.
You've become one of Myanmar's well-known democracy activists over the last 5 years. How has the resistance changed during that time?
Since before the coup and after the coup, I would say BC and AC. I think the resistance have changed a lot. It's opened up many doors that I never imagined that I would see. I imagine myself, I remember myself being in the middle of the crowd with so many people, thousand and thousand beside you. And I was so inspired and I felt so small, like, oh my God, people know I am as a protest leader, organizer and all that. But in the middle of people power, you are nothing. You are humble by the people power. And this is a true power time, And that made me humble so much that made me feel this is the people that we have to start for, And the people are already, they know what to do in the time, and they have already sacrificed their life. They have shown us the way. They are the true leaders. They are the true leaders. I think people power will definitely be the lasting change that we can rely on, we can look up to, together with the people, community organizing, the community development work through this. I think and then revolution is mostly defined by the victories, like the victory of the conquering the towns, conquering the townships, like all of these. But I think it's more than that. Victory is the people stay intact with their principle and keep resisting in their ways they can, and they reclaim their own civil space, wherever they are. And the people dedicated to move on with the social change. Even if not political change, there are so many social change are happening in terms of gender, disability, the discrimination. Many things are changing. So Myanmar will never be the same again. Myanmar is already evolving. Nobody can stop it.
Four years ago, 4 democracy activists were executed by the military inside prison. Are you worried that 9 activists could possibly face the same fate?
They have sentenced more than 100 of death sentences penalty. And then we were so worried that they could be executed anytime. And even if they do it, we can know, the junta can be so brutal towards their prisoner of war. And the only thing we can do it, we can try not to become like them. They will execute or they may not execute the prisoner of war. It's in their hands. This is who they are. This has been always done since a long time. They have shown who they really are. We know it. We know it for a long time. So if we hate that, the way thing we can do it, we can be different. We will treat our prisoner of war kindly, humanly, respecting international humanitarian law, respecting Geneva Convention. We have to prove to the people that we are better government, we are better revolution, we are going for a better situation. We don't need to go down to their levels. This is how we win them. So I'm hopeful that our people, especially the ethnic revolution organization, they are keeping their prisoner of war alive with at all costs, you know. They have to feed their own soldier, they have to feed the prisoner, but they are treating them right. This is a game changer in the revolution, not to repeat the cycle of violence. And I'm hopeful that our people will do better than the military.
What is your organization trying to do to raise awareness about Myanmar's young pro-democracy activists in prison?
So there are many different groups that are raising and voicing out for the Myanmar young people. Myanmar young people who are under 35 comprise 60% of the population. So Myanmar is a young nation. The median age is 27. So young people comprise. They are the neglected majority. We used to say that because young people are always at the front line. They are not in the leadership position. That's something we need to reconsider. Are we doing right? Are we giving the young people the right that they deserve the most, the leadership? I don't see that. Young people are always, glorifying, especially when they are on the front line getting killed in the front line strikes or in the armed resistance. So Myanmar young people, I think they're trying their best, making sure they survive first, making sure they want to survive. And I'm so proud of them that the young people, they choose what they want to do and they're not regretting that. If they want to be in the third country, they go and they do it and they survive, they thrive. If they want to be in the second country, they live in, they try their best for their family. And if they want to fight, they fight in the front line. And I hope they are happy with their decisions. And that's the most important thing. Young people need to be happy with their own decision. And I hope they find the meaningful life that they truly believe in. I think that's the most important thing. And the young people, I think they're the awakened ones who will do their best in whatever they are. They're my young people.
So what can ordinary people do to help without increasing the risk faced by imprisoned activists or their families?
Yeah, that's the thing. Our organization's been raising awareness that revolution, imagine it's as a big river. It's flowing really harsh, really hard. Sometimes it slow down. In the rainy season, it will flow really harsh, really hard. And, so it's the same. Revolution can not be always active. Sometimes it go down. Sometimes it will stay. Sometimes it will go slow. Sometimes it will go fast. So it depends on how much we contributed to the river. So imagine you yourself as me ourselves as a stream. We are small stream coming from different background, coming from different areas, flowing into the same river. So every stream is important. Even if they are small, even if they are from the mountain, even if from the very outskirt area, very dirty or whatever, their streams are important. So meaning we need to value whatever we can do. Don't blame on each other. Like if people are doing their best, we need to appreciate it. Especially those with the most privileges should do more, especially those with the military background who are in the military. They should do more. They should tell us what is going on inside Myanmar, inside military, what are the information. That is how we see many soldiers are taking risks to leak their information, before the fighter just flow in. They've been telling us, you should be careful. Now, 1, 2, going, be careful, go away. Like this is something we have to rely. It should be a long-term strategy where we activate the agency of human in every individual, including those inside the military. The military members, even the soldiers, they themselves need to feel as human. They are not just a puppet of mainline. They are not just slave of mainline. They are human with their own brain. So we need to activate that activism inside. The resilient, the resistant strategy should be also taught to these soldiers and police. And then they will form themselves and to organize themselves, and they will do their best. So I believe in a long-term strategy of a small action, small and low-risk action, that way create a bigger wave after sometimes, like one day that will create a big wave again, just like in 2021 coup time.
Is there anything else you would like to share with the people of Myanmar that you haven't already?
Thank you so much for each of your contribution to the revolution, as well as whatever you do, even if you are just sitting home, you are nurturing our future generations, especially the mothers. The mothers with their babies, they are making sure their babies don't turn out to be dictators. This is such a big job, to ensure we raise men right, we raise women right. Is such a big job and a big test, and I appreciate that they're surviving, they're thriving amid all of the brutality, amid all of the difficulty. They have shown enough strength that we need to inspire, and there are many things that we can learn from each other. We don't have to look at US, Europe, or we have a lot to learn from each other. Whenever I feel really depressed, I look at the Korean Revolution. I look at the Kachin Revolution, Chin people, Rohingya people. The people of all different minorities. They've been resisting generation by generations, and they are stay there. They don't give up different difficulties, but they still remain, and they are even helping other. They are even helping people like us who fled out of the military brutality. So, there are many different things we can learn from each other, and we need to trust the process. It's not just about the output, the result, it's also about the process. So let's be vigilant in this cruelty. That is our history. We are making our own history, and we are building a new nation together. So fighting, we go on.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for inviting me.